All right, guys, we are so thrilled and happy to have Nick Leeson with us. He is a derivatives trader. He is a motivational speaker. He is the CEO of Bull and Bear Capital. We're thrilled to have you, Nick. Thanks for doing this. And we apologize if there was confusion this morning with the time. We all know you're in Ireland, but it's great to have you. Welcome to the show, first of all.
Okay, I'm glad to be here. Don't worry about earlier. It was all my fault.
No problem, no problem. Let's jump right into things here. Interesting markets we're in right now. I mean, it's a little bit top heavy, it would seem. Again, you focus mostly on futures, derivatives, those types of instruments. Let's go, for those just starting out in the markets, what do you tell traders first starting out in the markets today versus maybe the markets that you dealt with way back when you started? What should people be aware of and know when they're first getting started today?
Well, I think when people are starting out, it's important that everybody wants to trade profitably. Okay, that's the aspiration for everybody. But you need to be able to manage your positions as well, and you need to be able to manage the risk. And my story is full of episodes where that didn't happen. And you also have to control the emotional side of trading. It can be very, very difficult. Everything is sent to test you, and it's how you deal with that. So you need to get the three things right. Of course, you all want to make profitable trades. You have to manage your position as effectively and manage the risk as well as you possibly can. But you have to handle the psychology, the emotional side of it as well. And you need to get all three parts right. If you're only getting one part right, you have a bit of a problem.
And the emotional side and the psychological side is so very key, and probably the hardest hurdle to get over when you are first starting out in the market, especially today. What are some tips that you would give traders today on the psychology side? What are some things that you employ yourself to kind of get past those stresses of the market every day?
Yeah, well, I think you hit the nail on the head. The psychology is the most difficult part. And, we're all going to experience losses, and how are you going to deal with them? Are you going to freeze like I did in Singapore all those years ago? Or are you going to act early? You're going to ask for help? So I think trading can be a really lonely place, right? We all know that. If something's going against you, you're on your own, and you've got no friends, and you really don't know how to communicate. So I think forums and using things like TraderTV and other avenues to perhaps look at what other people are experiencing and understand that, and get a bit of a guidance and point you in the right direction. It's crucial. I think back to all of my times in Singapore years ago, asking for help and advice. It sounds so easy. I never did it. The story would have been completely different had I done that. So communication is a real effective tool for pretty much any hurdle that you may face in life, as far as I'm concerned.
Hi, Nick. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here on TraderTV.Live, the best trading show on YouTube, and what a great honor to have you, so thank you. I did want to talk. We often get questions about market manipulation and what's been happening. We've just recently saw all these meme stocks with AMC and GME, and then we saw on Capitol Hill as well, talking with Robinhood and so on and so forth.
Sure.
What are some of your opinions regarding market manipulation, and why do you think it's so prominent right now?
Well, I think it's, I think you go through, different periods in the market where it's a little bit more prominent. The Robinhood, the meme stocks, I kind of like it. There's been a market that's been heavily in favor of the big investment banks, the fund managers, the short sellers for a large period of time. So I like that balance is coming into line a little bit more. People have had to become used to the way that the Wall Street bets, the Robinhood traders are approaching the markets, and it's evening the playing field up a little bit. So you've got to enjoy it from that perspective. I think back to my time in Singapore. We used to manipulate the markets. There was spoofing, there was layering. There's, those things are against the rules at the moment. But every time I look at a market open or the 15 to 20 minutes before the market opens, there's definitely some spoofing. There's definitely some layering going on. So it's impossible to eradicate it. And it's only a small minority of people that get involved in this sort of stuff. So, it's part of trading the markets. How this Robinhood and meme stock thing will end up, I really don't know. I think the banks, the fund managers will take back control, but only time will tell.
Nick, great answer. Thank you so much. And yeah, the word spoofing is one of those words that we try not to use too much here because, as you mentioned, yeah, not supposed to be allowed. So we'll slap some people on the hand there for that. But thank you for the great answer. I'll throw it over to Neil.
Yeah, and thank you for being here. Sometimes in the live show, we'll be showing a level 2, and then you'll see the spoofing order, which is hilarious. There's no way we can have you on here without getting an important question. You know, trading, some losses are just the cost of doing business. You can't win 100% of the time. So we have to ask you, what's your number one approach or main approach when a trader deals with an unexpected or outsized loss? Like, what tools would you employ to bounce back from it? Because that's ultimately what this game is about.
Yeah, look, it's a real tough one. Unfortunately, I spent 4.5 years in prison in Singapore, bouncing back from mine. So I had a lot of time to do that. And I think the first thing is that you have to, like for me, from a personal perspective, it was all about becoming accountable for my actions, being responsible, not blaming other people for things that went on. And I think trading is similar. You've made a mistake. You've got to realize that mistake. And I think the key part then from there is making sure that you don't repeat it. Mistakes are okay, right? They're going to happen. Everybody does it. Nobody walks through life being completely mistake-free. But you have to learn from it. If you continue to make those same mistakes time and time again, trading's probably not for you. I don't know how else to explain it. I have rebounded, and I'm still there. So hopefully, I've learned a few of those lessons.
Yeah, thank you so much for that answer. I mean, you fit in right on with us because we're about education here. So I love what you're bringing to the table. I'm going to send you back to Brennan again. An absolute honor to have you on, and fantastic.
Thank you. And look, I enjoyed the part of the program that I saw just before. I'm going out to buy a few stocks now.
Love it. We're going to bring you to the equity side. We're converting you.
Maybe not.
Let's talk about change here, Nick. This is a guy with decades of experience, obviously, in the market. So maybe more so than ever, right now, there's more retail traders, more young people in general trying to, get into the market for the first time. Let's talk a little bit about change here because, coming from, decades ago, as we said, tell us a little bit about how the market has changed from when you first started to where we are today, and maybe some of the bigger changes that have really influenced, in your opinion, the markets today.
Yeah, look, I come from an open outcry background, so it was all about hand signals, and you could see what people were doing in front of you when you're on the market. So obviously, everything is now screen traded. I think the complexity has gone through the roof in terms of the data that you're looking at, how you look at that data. So, I try to simplify things as much as possible. Don't look at too many technical indicators. You use one or two and tend to stick to those. But just to make it as simple as I possibly can. So as you've mentioned already, I still trade futures. And who knows when the market's going to move? Well, I can tell you when it's going to move twice during the day, the opening bell in Europe, the opening bell in the US. And I just focus on those periods of the day. And I like to step away, bring a bit of variety into the day. It's far too easy to get consumed by your trading screens, and you're forcing trades when you shouldn't. I think, education is a key part of that, empowering yourself. It's a long journey, to be honest with you, and experience is a key part of it as well, and keeping yourself safe in those early stages of learning.
Very, very true and well-spoken words. We appreciate it. NickLeeson.com, guys. Check him out on Twitter as well. Very active on Twitter. We appreciate your time. Nick Leeson, always a pleasure. And, come back and give us another update in the future. Enjoy your evening.
Absolutely. And you. Take care.
There we go, guys. NickLeeson.com.